Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the new Marvel Legends Commander Rogers, part of the Totally Awesome Hulk Build-A-Figure, and I just have to ask, is this a popular thing now? This Totally Awesome Hulk with the goofy-ass hair and the weird swimming trunks? Is this a popular thing, or is this like the new direction that Marvel's going that the fans aren't actually a part of? I'm just curious, I don't know. For me, I will not be building it because I don't care for a Hulk that has a faux Hulk. Okay, so this figure, Commander Rogers. We haven't had a Commander Rogers figure since, what was it, like 2014, 2015, something like that. I think it's been a while. And it was a pretty good figure when it came out, but it could definitely be replaced. And this one does some things very nicely. Not surprisingly, it does some things not as well as you might hope, but we'll see by the end of the review if it's the kind of thing you might want to buy. So let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands about 6 3/4 inches. That's going to make him roughly, let's just call it 17 centimeters. Here he is up against Darwin, just a little bit taller than Darwin, and I suppose that's reasonable enough for Marvel Legends. They do seem to be creeping just a little bit taller than they used to, and they were already out of 112 skill, so that's interesting to me. Okay, time for question of the day. Which version of Captain America is your favorite? As long as it's Steve Rogers, which suit, which look for him? That's what I'm going for. For me, I don't know. I'm pretty into the ultimate look, I guess. So we'll go with that. Okay, time for the aesthetic. This figure is a weird combination of old parts and new parts, and the choices they made are quite strange, really strange. I will say right off the bat, it does have generally better proportions, better look than most Marvel Legends. Of course, we all know that's a very low bar to clear, but he does do it, and that's good. Definitely could be a lot better. These straps go a long way to helping him look like he has a broader chest than he has, so that's kind of good. And there's no paint on the straps. Actually, there's no shading anywhere. The only paint we have are the few little bits of silver right there. You can see those front and center. And then we have the logo and the stripes. So let's look at that up close before we look at the head sculpt. It's clean enough on the chest. It's not great, but it's not bad. The shoulders look like straight up garbage though. The way they did that in 3 pieces, which is reasonable enough, but they didn't do a good job. It's not opaque enough to carry that. It doesn't look good. You can see the overlaps, the front and the back. It's not a clean line, and you can see the weirdness, so that's not good. Stripes going down the sides of the arms, surprisingly good. I'll take that. Then the stripes on the legs, again, pretty darn good. I'll take that. All right, so the paints, what is there is kind of clean except for the shoulders, and it's probably good enough, though this is the kind of figure where a little bit of shading would go a long way. And I do want to mention, this is proof positive of what I've been saying is true. Typically speaking, these lines go up at an angle, and they can't do that because of the way Hasbro arranges the chest muscles and the shoulder muscles. They're not meant to be side by side. The shoulders are supposed to be up from the chest, and they are getting a little bit better at that, but still not enough. And because of that, they have to just run right across the pec, right over the deltoid, and it's just super weird. And then I guess we can talk about the shoulders a little bit. The whole shoulder if you were going to make it like this, it should be wider. It should be much wider than it is tall. Or at least equal. But the way they do it, it's much taller than it is wide, so it gives a very wimpy shoulder look from the side. And that's very unfortunate, because Captain America should never look wimpy. And on top of that, they use these crappy old arms. Those of you who like pinless joints, forget about it. You don't get them. You get nothing. So that's weird. Crappy arms and not pinless, which is obvious because they're old crappy arms. Very strange. All right, let's look at the head. Let's do another question of the day. Does anybody think this looks good? I'm guessing the sculpt is actually solid. At least for the face. I'm torn about the hair. To me, the hair doesn't look great, but again, I'm thinking that the paint job is making it look worse than it is. The hair especially, they put a wash of the lighter color on top of the darker color plastic, which means all of the low areas are bright and like straw colored, and it looks really weird. That's not how you do washes, typically. And then for the face, like it's technically clean, but they went for that like hyper realistic cartoon look with the lipstick and the shaded eyes and everything, and technically it's clean, but it throws off the look completely. And it doesn't really look like the Steve Rogers that I'm familiar with. It looks like I mean, he's supposed to be handsome, and I wouldn't categorize this guy as handsome. He's certainly not my type, so I don't know. I'm not in love with that head, but you guys can let me know what you think about it. And again, I just don't like the realism that they're going for. I would much prefer a more comic-looking character sculpt. Okay, so aesthetically speaking, it's definitely good for Marvel Legends. It's just got lots of flaws to carry it through to being Hasbro product. So I'm going to say it gets an 8. It's fine. I mean, it's better than normal, so that's good. All right, as far as accessories go, get a load of this. They made his transparent shield, which is awesome at first. And then you turn it around and they're still using that god-awful, horrible hinge clippy peg thing, which is notorious for breaking, though this looks like they made it out of a different plastic. So that might not break as easily, but it's still so ugly, and it's not even, like, it doesn't look good on the figure. Because when you have it on his back, you can see the clip, so that's not good. And then when you have it on his wrist, you still have the big peg sticking out. So that's not good. So it's just, make a new one. Make one that actually has the damn straps. It's been done. You've done it, Hasbro. Make one that has the straps. Or just get rid of both. Get rid of the straps and this and come up with something better than this junk. Does anybody like this clip? Let me know. We'll do another question. I'm curious. Do you guys like this clip? Because I know I've heard people say they hate it, and I have hated it almost from the beginning. Poorly executed shield. 0 out of 10. They lost points. They were going to get bonus points for the clear shield, but then they just totally Hasbro'd it up, so I'm not going to give them any. Alright, let's talk about the articulation. The head definitely sits too high when you put it back on the joint. When you bring it all the way forward on the joint, it's okay. The shoulders were a little bit better. That would fix that. But so we do have a lollipop, for sure. He can look up ridiculously far, and he can look down ridiculously far. But he can only rotate his head like this because the leaning makes it look unnatural because they're still using that so antiquated disc hinge with a ball peg combo. It's just not a good joint. It's really not, unless the only thing you really care about is busting the neck like that. So that's not ideal. Shoulders, you're going to get your full rotation. You can get them up to just shy of horizontal. That took a lot of force. Maybe you could force them even higher. It looks like you can get them, let's just say horizontal. Okay, I'll give them that. And then you're going to get your bicep swivel, which is not great on these arms because of the way they're sculpted, but it's okay. It's fine. Double jointed elbow, that's good. Frankly, you guys will probably notice the double jointed elbows and knees that have pins in them are much nicer to pose than the ones that are pinless. Pay attention next time. See if you can notice a difference. It's because of the plastics that have to get used in the way it works. So the wrists have a swivel and a hinge. Oh, by the way, the skin painted on the fingers doesn't match the face at all. And the neck on the body doesn't match the face at all either. All right, ab crunch. It goes back a little bit, not real far. And it goes forward a little bit, not real far. Waist twist is fine. Floaty belt floats. Hips go pretty far forward. I like that. He can kick. They go back just a little bit out to the side. Horrible. Not even 45 degrees. Hasbro is not progressing as a company because they don't have to, and that's unfortunate, but that is completely up to the consumer. Thigh swivel is a thigh swivel. Double jointed knees. They're not great because of this, but I guess that's good enough. Proportioning is a lot better on this figure. Longer thighs, relatively shorter legs. I like that. There doesn't appear to be a boot swivel. If there is, both of mine are stuck. I don't think there is. No paint on the boots, by the way. And then for the ankles, they go back reasonably far. Don't go very far forward at all. And the ankle rocker is ridiculously steep. So this guy's not going to be great for posing. He's going to be average at best for Marvel Legends. Despite him looking better at first glance, he's going to pose not great. Mostly because his ankles suck. And he can't spread his legs. And everybody knows that's what Cap is best at doing. So I'm going to give the articulation only a 6 out of 10. This is not good enough for the hips. And then the ankles are not very good either. The ab crunch doesn't work very well. He doesn't have a double ball peg neck. It's just not in any way an impressive release for articulation. And in a lot of ways, it's not good. Bad. So, time for the final verdict. Is this a really good release? Not particularly. Is it a really bad release? No, I wouldn't say so. I'd say if you like this look for Steve, then go ahead and get it. It's probably, in a lot of ways, better than the other one, the old one. And in other ways, that one's going to win. But it's a good-looking figure overall for Hasbro fans, for Marvel Legends fans, For Steve Rogers fans, it's going to be good enough, I would say. But I'm guessing the Hasbro fans are eating this up, because compared to most, it's pretty darn good. I'm going to give it an overall rating of 4 Marvel Legends, 8 out of 10. A lot of room for improvement, but better than a lot of stuff they put out. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos almost every single day and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. In the meantime, keep collecting.